Good morning. Hope everyone had a good weekend, and I hope everyone is ready to start enjoying this novel, Trail of Lightning. I think it's one of the better fantasy novels that I have read in the past few years, and I think it provides a lot of things for us to think about uh, and things for us to analyze and to work in critical reading, critical writing, critical thinking. Just a quick review of what's coming up. Um, Remember that hopefully Group B is in class today. Group A will be in class on Wednesday. Writing Lab E, Natalie, Jordan, Alyssa, and Andre. Next week, Group B, Group A. We're back with Group B. Notice on the 5th and on the 7th, I want to have what I will call large group writing labs. People should have starts to the paper, and we're going to spend some time in class where people can ask questions. We can put some stuff up on screen, and we can work on fixing it as a group and writing together in class as a group. So we'll have the quiz, we'll have some paper editing and revising as we go through that, and then we'll be finishing up the novel and doing some of the paper writing and revising as well. One of the frustrations people have expressed other times that I've used this novel in class is the pronunciation. And I have looked, and again, I looked, just used Google to pronunciation guide for Trail of Lightning, pronunciation guide for Navajo gods and goddesses or Navajo deities, and I haven't found one. I think it's okay to feel frustrated. I also think it's unnecessary to be frustrated. If you are reading aloud, I believe it is important to get everything correct. If you are reading to yourself and you don't know how to pronounce the name, make an educated guess. Be consistent. Whenever you see the name come up, use the same pronunciation in your head as you go. If you have an Audible book available, use it. I know that there's an Audible version of this book available. It's where I get the pronunciation of Nesgahani, the character I'm going to give you the biography of. But some of the other deities, it's tough for me to pronounce. And so we're just going to go through and kind of make things work as best we can. I understand you might be frustrated. I don't think you have to be frustrated. So, Nesgahani. The title slide talked about we're going to give his biography, and he is kind of the character who lurks in the background as we're talking about this book. He is the character who kind of is created Maggie to be the way that she is, at least until at least as of right now. He's the son of Changing Woman and the Sun, and he is a twin. And he and his brother are known in Navajo stories as the Hero Twins. And Nesgahani is the more famous because his brother stays behind with the Mother Changing Woman um, after their first huge big adventures. As children, the twins were chased around a mountain by the holy people. And as the holy people chased them, they beat them with mahogany switches in order to train them. Now, this sounds like it is cruelty without any kindness. And, it's taking spare the rod and spoil the child to an extreme. However, throughout their adventures, they get help from the wind, in part because of who their parents are. And the wind tells them to train, to run faster, and eventually they train and they can run so fast that as they run around the mountain, the holy people can't catch them. And they've been chased around this mountain 4 times, and they have proven their worth. And so the holy people are satisfied with their training. Someone else who aids them is Spider Woman. And we're not talking about anybody from Marvel Comics here. We're talking about, a character from the Navajo deities. And she tells them who their father is. She tells them that their father is the sun. She tells them how to journey to the sun. And she warns them of all the dangerous places they're going to go as they're on their way to see their father. That there will be rocks that can crush people. There will be reeds and cactuses that are so sharp that they will cut them. And there will be these boiling sands that will burn them. And she gives them a sacred hoop. And sacred hoops become a part of this novel. Remember that the novel takes elements of Navajo tradition and blends them in to the story. Sacred hoops become part of that. And it should be said here that this journey is something that tons of heroes go through. The hero Theseus, for example, journeys from his birthplace to Athens, going through all sorts of bandits and dangers. Perseus, when he has to go cut off the head of Medusa in Greek mythology, goes through a bunch of uh, places that can hurt him. Jason, when he and the Argonauts go to get the Golden Fleece, have to deal with all sorts of dangers as well. Going on a journey, overcoming dangers is a big part of it. Going on a journey to find a father and going through a bunch of dangers is a big part of dozens of mythic traditions. When they finally get to the sun tests them. They've been told to anticipate a lot of these, so there's the tossing of spikes of white shell. They're able to deal with that. There's turquoise spikes that are tossed at them. They are placed in a sweat lodge that's hot enough to kill, but once again, they are told to anticipate it, and they have planned for it so that they can escape. There's poisonous tobacco, and again, they are taught to, um, you know, told to prepare for that. And then he offers them a bunch of gifts and games, and they are told not to give in to the gifts and games, but to ask for the serious things. One of the things I think that we should point out here is that the white shell probably has some ceremonial value in Navajo tradition. The turquoise probably has some ceremonial value. The sweat lodge, tobacco, we know that those have ceremonial value in Native American traditions. And so placing them in the story is a reason to justify the ceremonial value that they may have. The gifts they ask for and get from the sun, they're told by the wind to ask for them. So the zigzag lightning, and again, the lightning and Nesgahani are linked together in the novel. It's one of the things that Roanhorse borrows from the novel to make it work. They're told to ask for flint shoes and flint clubs and flint leggings and flint garments, a lot of flint headgear, wrist guards. In other words, they're pretty much told to ask for armor made of flint, along with the lightning. And the sun gives them all of this because they survived all of the challenges. Then the sun is so impressed by their wisdom and what they've asked for that he's going to help them go kill monsters. And the first monster they're going to go kill is Big Giant. But when they go to battle the monster, the sun says that they can fight it and they can kill it, but he needs to strike the first blow. So he throws a bolt of lightning against the mountains, home of the monsters. The twins slide on down this bolt of lightning. Again, you will read about echoes of that way of travel in the novel. The sun strikes the first blow with lightning. The twins battle the big giant and kill it. And they shoot it with the lightning arrows. And the hero, there's a statement in the novel that I will get to where they are the monster killers. They are like Heracles. They are like Perseus. They are like Bellerophon from Greek myth. And that's even alluded to in the novel. They killed the horned monster, and the monster eagle, and the monster who kicks people down the cliff, and the monsters that killed with their eyes. In other words, they kill a lot of monsters that were endangering the people, and a lot of monsters that we in the year of our Lord 2021 don't believe exist or ever existed. However, there were monsters that they couldn't kill. The book references them on page 102, and it references hunger, poverty, and old age. But cold and lice were also monsters that they could not get rid of, could not kill. And so the monsters that we still have to deal with, old age, poverty, hunger, disease, these were monsters that they could not kill. They could kill the eagle monster and the monster that crushed people with rocks, but they could not kill these. Which leads me to today's daily writing. Now, please, please, please keep listening. If you hit pause and do the daily writing first, that's fine, but keep listening and get to the end of the slides because today's daily writing is in the middle. The place that I borrowed all of this information from was navajocourts.org. And according to them, the antidote to modern monsters, to old age, and to everything else is to walk in beauty. All right. I will tie in that I saw a slide or a meme come across my Instagram feed yesterday. And the meme was basically something to the effect of, enjoy your life. Because when you die, they're going to post your job opening before they post your obituary. To walk in beauty, I think, is a little bit more elegant way of phrasing the same sort of thing. To dwell on the beauty and to deal with the beauty. All right? But your daily writing is going to be, which of the following modern monsters can humanity do the most about? Old age, poverty, or hunger? Explain what can be done and what solution you think would work best. And again, there's about 4 slides after this. So if you pause, make sure you come back and pick up those 4. If you don't pause, make sure you come back and do the daily writing in the comments. Nezkahani in the book is the monster slayer. He's the hero of legend. A lot of the things that we talked about in the biography are either hinted at, like traveling with lightning and things like that, or stated directly. However, there's also a confused status. Is he Maggie's mentor? Is he Maggie's lover? Is he an immortal who doesn't have time for mortals because they're all going to die and he kind of keeps his distance? So he's kind of just this guy who goes and kills monsters and uses mortals as he wills, I guess. When he teaches Maggie, is it out of a sense of love for mortals, or is it out of a sense of duty because he didn't get all of the monsters before they got to her? We'll read her monster slayer emergence story as we go through. And so there's kind of this confusion. Is he the villain? Is he a hero? Is he something else? And by the time we get to the end, there's all sorts of weird options for Nezkahani. Other characters. Mai or Coyote. And look, this is straight out of the myth. We will talk about tricksters and stuff in another slide presentation. The book on page 79 talks about putting stars in the sky. There were several tricksters in Navajo's story, but Coyote seems to be the one who is linked to witches. And that's something that the book doesn't mention, but I think as you read, it starts to make sense. The book also mentions Mosi, and Mosi's the cat. And in the book on page 225, along with buffalo, deer, and coyote, They stay with Changing Woman in the West. I have not found any real stories about that in my research, but I haven't looked as hard as I probably should have. But again, I want you to notice that the number 4 is here, that sacred number is here. The other character is Ta. He appears briefly at the start, and then there's some drama surrounding his life, and we'll have to deal with that as we go through. But he's a father figure and spiritual advisor. Kai appears throughout the book. We'll talk about him as a medicine man. And then we have to deal with Maggie. Maggie is the protagonist. The book revolves around her emotionally. It revolves around her skill as a monster slayer. It revolves around her reactions to the killing and the death and everything that she is exposed to. It revolves around her reaction to being with Nezkahani and then being abandoned by Nezkahani. And so I thought that the bio was important because who Nezkahani is in the book reflects on who Maggie is in the book. It helps create who Maggie is in the book. Remember that we're talking about character, conflict, connection, and theme. So the conflicts are obviously Maggie versus herself. Your paper, in some ways, one of the options is being a monster or monster slayer. Which is she? She's certainly dealing with some forms of post-traumatic stress disorder. Ta tells her on page 29 that it's not good, all this death on you. There are humans versus witches and humans versus all forms of the supernatural. There's just also a basic Maggie versus long arm conflict as well. And then connections. I already talked about the mythological connections. For us living in Yankton, South Dakota, when page 22 talks about newly formed coastline that stretches from San Antonio to Sioux Falls, it's good to know that we would be close to the ocean. But it also talks about the poverty in the reservations. And again, those of us who are native to South Dakota or Nebraska, we know that the native communities on the reservations are the ones that experience the most poverty within our states, within the Dakotas, within Wyoming, within Nebraska. And so dealing with those sorts of things in a dystopian novel and understanding as we talk about the dystopia that's in the novel, that people are living a sort of dystopia because of poverty now, I think is important. So we're still going, despite the fact that this is a fantasy, we are still going to be talking about character, conflict, connection, and theme. That should wrap it up for today. Again, I hope to see Group A in class on Wednesday. I hope that everybody has a good week. Please come prepared to class prepared to do your questions and stuff about the paper. I hope to have everything on the papers you just turned in, the book reviews, wrapped up by Wednesday or Thursday. And once again, I hope everybody has a good week, and I hope everybody enjoys this novel.